I want to move on just in the final 8 minutes or so to some key case studies, each of which I believe has a key message for us. Let's look at Philips. You're in water, but they are in light. They decided to produce a product that would create an astonishing benefit for humankind at zero cost. 5% of all the energy in the European Union and America and Australia is consumed by streetlights. So they decided to go and attack that. And they produced a new streetlight that reduces that figure down to only 2%, which is a spectacular achievement. What's more, it pays for itself in just 4 years. That are selling all kinds of innovative solutions on this kind of basis. Self-financing, no money up front, finance provided from somewhere else. It's a win-win-win. Here's another one. British Sugar cooks sugar beet to make sugar, but they were short of power. So they bought a gas turbine to make their own power. Then they thought, we've got cheap power and we've got wasted heat. Let's collect the waste from this huge gas turbine and cook the sugar for free. Next, they thought, we've got all this carbon dioxide and water vapor coming out at 500 miles an hour out of the back of this gas turbine. Let's collect that in a huge pipe and collect this pipe. That greenhouse used to grow 35 million wonderful tomatoes every single year. It now grows 75 million. In fact, last night, I'm pretty certain that some of you ate tomatoes that were built from carbon that came out of the back end of a gas turbine from British Sugar as a waste product. I think that's kind of cool, don't you? Well, you think, well, I'm not sure about eating them. Okay, I think it's kind of cool. It's good for image. It's good for the environment. It helps you think outside the box. It's about a creative partnership between one company and technology and another. But what kind of business are they in? Tomatoes or electricity? I'm not quite sure. But who cares? Here's another one. Intel. Intel uses a huge amount of water to make chips. It pours 1.5 million gallons a day of the 2 million gallons a day it uses. And then they pump it right back down into the sandstone aquifer. Why? Because Chandler City is more or less desert. And every drop counts. And they've become so popular with Chandler City municipality that Chandler City threw open the doors and said, yes, of course you can build another factory. Of course you can do this. Of course you can do that. So it's a great win-win-win-win. It saves them money and it opens opportunities. Pret a Manger is a wonderful company. I know the guy who started it. It just makes sandwiches. It makes sandwiches every day out of a small kitchen attached to the shop. And they've got 300 or 400 of them now around the world, using simple ingredients that you would find in your own home. And every piece of food they sell every day. And if they don't sell it, they give it away. How cool is that? They've done very well. Why? Because of the image. Because they're doing what people believe is right. Healthy food, and we don't waste anything. And even the packaging is recycled. Here is another one. Nutrico makes most of the world's farmed salmon. In fact, 70% of the salmon that you have ever eaten from a fish farm has come from a Nutrico fishery. They grow the tiny fish and then they drop them by helicopter into big nets in Scotland, in Norway, in Chile. One day the BBC came and made a documentary. They put deep-sea divers under the fish nets and they discovered something. A lot of diseased fish, a lot of toxins, and it didn't look too good. In fact, it looked so awful that the share price fell by 20% or more. Almost immediately the program was aired. Nutrico was really upset, because they pride themselves on being one of the most environmentally progressive companies in the world. They believe that fish farming is the answer to provide low-fat food for tomorrow's people, to provide jobs for poor subsistence farmers on the edge of their land in the middle of the sea. They believe it's more sustainable than going out and wild fishing, which destroys fish stocks. They believe that it's the future of fish, the future of healthy food. So, when this happened, they decided to build even stronger partnerships with the voluntary sector, with the leading environmental specialists that they could find. And they said, we want you to advise us, to keep us as the thought leaders, the world thinkers, the cutting edge, the opinion formers, the regulation advisors. We want to be right at the very forefront globally of the big debate about the future of fishing. and the future of nutrition. And what happened was, they started winning a whole load of awards, and 2 years later, of course, there was another documentary. This time, it was in Chile. Some more deep-sea divers under some nets, and they found some nasty stuff. But this time, something different happened. The chairman got a call from the press and said, "Have you any comment to make about the latest findings in Chile?" And he said, "Well, you know, my position is clear. I am shocked and horrified. As a corporation, we are committed, as is well known, to absolutely the highest standards. At every conference we speak at, we help to create the very standards that the rest of the industry aspires to. We have worked with all the leading environmental specialists in the world who advise us regularly and indeed have visited that very facility in the last few months. I suggest you phone them up and find out what went wrong with their inspection." The story disappeared. Why? Because the media said, "Well, as we can see, they're very upset about it, and now if Nutriga get it wrong, well, they don't get it wrong very often. Things go wrong sometimes just because there are silly people and there are bad employees, but you mustn't judge the company, because we know the company has a moral position which is right, and actually they're the best of the best."